Hello again from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Today I'm headed to Cebu City in the Philippines, and I'll be flying on a combination of Singapore Airlines and Scoot via Singapore. I have flown on Singapore Airlines on numerous occasions before, but this would be my first time flying on its low-cost subsidiary Scoot. There wasn't any queue at the Singapore Airlines check-in counters, and I managed to reach the counter within a couple of minutes, although the check-in process was slow and took more than 10 minutes to complete.
Okay, so I have finished my check-in and I'm heading towards immigration and customs check right now. My flight to Singapore today leaves from gate G2, which is in the main terminal. And I've been told by the check-in agent that the lounge is also in the main terminal, so it should be a short walk to the lounge. Looking forward to it.
As I've noticed on a couple of occasions before, the X-ray scanners at the customs checkpoint were not operational, and the final security check would be carried out at the boarding gate. As I walked past the customs checkpoint, I noticed a staff member holding up a sign to the new location of the Plaza Premium lounge. This, I feel, was a helpful touch from the folks at KLI. The new Plaza Premium lounge at the KLI main terminal is divided into two sections. There is a separate section for first class passengers and another one for business class passengers. The lounge has a warm, welcoming ambience to it, and I was keen to see the facilities on offer. There is a bar and coffee section with a decent variety of drinks on offer. As it was breakfast time, the food selection had a choice of traditional Malaysian and Western breakfast items available.
So I'm at the Plaza Premium Lounge at the KLI main terminal. This seems to be a new lounge that has recently opened, and it looks quite good. I'm looking forward to having some breakfast as I'm feeling really hungry this morning.
I decided to have some scrambled egg and sausage along with a croissant and muffin, and it tasted quite fresh.
Right, it's about 9:45 and it's now time to board my flight to Singapore. Thankfully, the gate here is just next door, so I don't need to walk that much.
Boarding was announced after a short wait, and taking me to Singapore today is an ex-Silkair Boeing 737-800. I'm in seat 56K today, and I have this view of our starboard side wing out of my window. Alright, let's do a quick seat tour. SQ's Boeing 737-800s do not have individual IFE screens. The seat pitch in economy class is around 30 inches, which is a bit tight for a full-service carrier. There are these old generation controls for audio built into the armrest, although I'm not sure if the system still works. There is a standard size tray table that can be folded out like this. The in-flight safety video is shown on drop-down LCD screens that are situated every few rows. The safety video is consistent across different aircraft types though. Our flight to Singapore does not look that full today, and the seats next to me are empty as the crew close the doors.
So we're on our way to Singapore on SQ105. It is a short flight with a flying time of just over 50 minutes today. We're almost half the way there, and the crew has just served some apple juice and water.
As you may already know, there is no meal service on the short sector and only hot and cold beverages are served. I was soon presented with this lovely view of Malacca, with the city centre clearly visible from above. We commenced our descent into Singapore shortly, and the crew announced that we would be arriving at Changi Airport's Terminal 2. It was a typical Singapore Airlines shuttle flight from KL, nothing out of the ordinary. You take off, cruise for a few minutes, have your coffee or juice, and before you know, you are already over Singapore.
Thank you for flying Singapore Airlines, a member of Star Alliance.
I just love the Singapore Airlines crew. They're always warm, smiling, and willing to assist you. I have had quite a few flights on SQ recently, and I have been impressed every single time.
Alright, so I'm at Terminal 2 of Changi International Airport, Singapore. I've just arrived from Kuala Lumpur on SQ105. It was a good flight, nothing special, just over 50 minutes long. I have a 5-hour layover before my connecting flight to Cebu, so I'm planning to head out into Singapore for a bit. See you again in some time.
I'm back at Changi Airport's Terminal 1, which is the primary hub for Scoot, but it also hosts other carriers such as Malaysia Airlines, Indigo, Qatar Airways, and a few others. There are quite a few Scoot departures to destinations around Southeast Asia at this time of the day.
Hello from Terminal 1 at Changi International Airport. I just arrived at the airport after a quick trip into Singapore earlier. My bag has been through checked all the way to Cebu at Kuala Lumpur, so I do not have any bags to check in, so I'll be heading straight to immigration and security. Hopefully it should not take much time.
Changi Airport's Terminal 1 is also a shopper's paradise, just like the other terminals in Singapore. There is a huge variety of retail outlets, including some of the world's top brands. One can easily spend a few hours here and not get bored.
I'm now making my way to gate C24, where my flight to Cebu will be departing in the next 1 hour. I still have another 15 minutes or so before boarding officially begins, so I'm just going to sit down and rest for a while. Boarding's finally been announced and I'm making my way to the aircraft. There is a requirement for you to wear a mask as per the Philippine government requirements. I'm curious to see how the onboard product and service on board Scoot is going to be.
After getting stuck in a traffic jam inside the aerobridge, I finally board the aircraft. I am seated in 4F, a starboard window seat today. Let's do a seat tour before we depart. As Scoot is a low-cost carrier, there are no seatback IFE screens on their aircraft. There is a standard tray table that folds out like this and is decently sturdy. The seat pitch is extremely tight at 28 inches, as you can see. It's almost impossible to stretch your legs, and I can imagine getting DVT on longer flights. There is a slim armrest that houses the seat recline button and can be lifted up. The seats next to me are empty right now, and I pray they remain empty throughout the flight.
Should there be a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen mask will automatically drop from the compartment above. Remember to remove your face mask before donning the oxygen mask.
Flights out of Singapore involve a really long taxi run these days. The central runway has been shut for a while due to airport expansion works, and depending on your departure terminal and the runway direction, it can take almost 15 minutes before you line up on the runway. Anyway, we eventually lined up on runway 20 left and began our takeoff roll.
So we've taken off from Singapore on TR388 to Cebu. Our flying time to Cebu today is expected to be just under 3.5 hours, and we are expected to land around 9:30 p.m. this evening. The crew has announced that they will be commencing the in-flight food sales, and passengers can take a look at the menu that is available in the seat back pocket to choose what they want to order. There's absolutely no food or drink service on this flight whatsoever.
As there is no in-flight entertainment either, let's take a look at the seat pocket literature. There is a well-designed safety information card that is quite consistent with the Scoot corporate branding and colors. Then there is the Scoot Cafe menu, which shows a variety of hot meals, snacks and drinks you can order. Hot meals and light meals are only available for pre-order when you book your flight, while dry snacks and beverages can be purchased on board. As I was flying on a Singapore Airlines issued ticket, I was entitled to a free hot meal and a beverage of my choice. The options were fish and chicken, and I chose the latter. It was draped with a cheese sauce and was accompanied by some rice and veggies. And yeah, they served Udder's chocolate ice cream for dessert. I chose a can of Coke as my beverage today. Overall, the meal was okay, nothing quite spectacular, but enough to keep you full for the duration of the flight. The weather over the South China Sea was quite fair today, and the flight was super smooth. As I was feeling a bit restless due to the lack of IFE on this aircraft, I thought of exploring Scoot's in-flight portal. You need to connect to the Scoot Hub Wi-Fi network on your device, and it opens up this bright yellow page welcoming you to Scoot Hub. Once you click on Continue to AirFi, it redirects to your browser and opens up the airfi.aero webpage, or at least it attempts to open the page. For some reason, I was unable to get it to load despite trying to reload the page multiple times. I eventually gave up, and as the seats next to me were still empty, I decided to stretch and take a nap instead. As I woke up after a short nap, I noticed that the cabin had been darkened by the cabin crew. We were just over an hour away from landing into Cebu at this time. As we commenced our descent into Cebu, I saw this bright full moon rising over the Cebu Strait. The reflection of the moon on the sea below was simply gorgeous, and it's one of those sights I feel lucky to witness. We soon began our final approach to runway 04, and everyone got strapped into their seats. We were about to land in Cebu after a 3.5-hour flight from Singapore. Scoot is a low-cost carrier, and the experience is typical of a low-cost carrier flight. No frills, no fuss, just fly from A to B. It felt more like an AirAsia flight that I have often taken back in Malaysia, with a few unique tweaks. You essentially get what you pay for, nothing else.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cebu. We are pleased to announce that we have arrived early, 20 minutes ahead of schedule. The local time now is 9:05 in the evening. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the fasten seatbelt signs are turned off.
It was my first time arriving at the international terminal at Cebu Mactan Airport. The terminal is beautifully designed and was opened for operations around 5 years ago. It is hugely different from Cebu's original Terminal 1, which now caters to domestic flights. Like I mentioned before, this terminal is beautiful and quite a contrast from Terminal 1, which was built in the 1990s and looks quite old and tired. I hope I get a chance to depart out of this terminal soon. Hope you enjoyed flying with me today from Kuala Lumpur to Cebu via Singapore. I'll see you all on my next flight. Till then, take care.